Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm beginning to see increased chatter, at least that's my perception, surrounding XRP and the price expectations about XRP, both for the short term and the long term, frankly. Not just from analysts that I follow, I'm just noticing that even crypto media is talking about it just at a higher rate than normal. I'll just say that because I check out a ton of different crypto media sources every single day. I consume as much information as I can, and I've just noticed that there seems to have been an uptick. I'm just observing it. It's just interesting. But I'll tell you, there's one analyst in particular, and I'm going to highlight this just a little bit further into the video, but he says that as far as XRP price action is concerned, it's going to be volatile and very scary, and that's a direct quote. But he does ultimately say in the end that it's going to pay off, and I'll share with you the specifics because it's look, here's the thing. Volatility is not scary to me, but to the typical retail speculator, it's very difficult to manage. It's very difficult to navigate emotionally. They don't have as much trouble with it to the upside, at least not as much trouble to the upside as to the downside, but still, it is what it is. So I want to talk about that. There's also, I also want to talk a little bit about this market cycle. What's it looking like, and to what degree are crypto market cycles lengthening? Plenty to talk about, but I do want to be clear at the outset, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. It looks like a bit of a sea of red today. Market's not looking so hot, nothing terribly dramatic. This is, as far as I'm concerned, it just looks like more sideways chop, whatever. XRP's at 75 cents, Bitcoin at 41,841. Market cap for the asset class still a little over 2 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 38.77%. And here's the crypto fear and greed index at 24 out of 100, indicating that the typical retail speculator is in extreme fear. And why? Because reasons. That's why. Oh, good old-fashioned emotions. Isn't it just fun to feel a bunch of stuff and then make important financial decisions as a result of those emotions rather than logic and data? Oh, man, it's a blasty blast. Here's a headline from Crypto Newsflash. Bitcoin heading for a price crash in 2022, says Invesco global head. So now it seems like it's not just the fly-by-night technical analysts that think that things are very scare. Which, by the way, just to be clear here, even if Bitcoin is in a bear market, and maybe it is, I don't pretend to know that, the best is yet ahead because we have not yet had a euphoric blow off top. So I don't care. Like I'm not scared in the least. Like you cannot shake me. But anyway, piece begins as follows. Bitcoin has once again become the center of discussion as the world's largest cryptocurrency continues to trade in the $41,000 to $44,000 range. Invesco's global head of asset allocation, Paul Jackson, believes that the Bitcoin bubble could burst and that Bitcoin could lose half of its value in 2022 as the investor mania wears off. Oh, that sounds scary. What am I going to do? Jackson's comments came through his list of 10 improbable but possible outcomes for 2022. The Invesco chief also said that he sees the Bitcoin price dropping under $30,000 levels in 2022. This will be more than 50% price corrections from the all-time high levels. In the past, Bitcoin has demonstrated such corrections, and thus one cannot entirely rule out the possibility. Yeah, so look, we have seen that. And even last market cycle, there was, what was it? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I want to say there were like 9 corrections or something like that from 2015 to the end of 2017 that averaged like 37 to 38%, meaning, again, like I've said before, some were higher, some were lower. So it's not like this stuff is unheard of. Which is why, and I'm going to talk about this more a little bit later in the video too, like where are we in the cycle? Where exactly? Because at this point, it seems very crystal clear that market cycles have lengthened, right? Look at this. We're over halfway through January. We were having altcoin mania in like arguably late November of 2017 and early December 2017. That's when coins really started popping off. So, folks, it's definitely 4 years past that, and we're not seeing that. Like, you're seeing random coins pop off a bit here and there, fine, but not a true alt season, not with the mania. And we're also seeing that people are not panic selling to the same degree that you saw 4 years ago. Think late 2017 with Bitcoin into the early part of 2018. We're not quite seeing that either. So that behavior is a bit different. And so market cycles are certainly lengthening. Just makes you wonder, how different is this going to be? Structurally, maybe it won't be particularly different, but in terms of the timeline, looks like it is. Just the question is to what degree. But take a look at this quote. This is kind of dramatic, but I found it interesting, so I'm going to share it with you. Citing the stock market crash of 1929, Jackson said that the boom in Bitcoin's value has clear hallmarks of the phenomenon dubbed financial mania. And here's a quote. The mass marketing of Bitcoin reminds us of the activity of stockbrokers in the run-up to the 1929 crash. We know how that ended, and Bitcoin has already fallen to around $42,000, following closely the downward path of our mania template. That template suggests a loss of 45% is experienced in the 12 months after the peak of a typical financial mania. Yeah, so except with Bitcoin, it's typically worse that when you get the actual bubble pop, then it bursts, over 80%. That's happened multiple times throughout history. If you're talking about, a 30 or 40 or 45% pullback, that seems more like normal even during like an upward trend actually, because Bitcoin is volatile AF. It just is, and I don't mind seeing that. Patience is a thing, though. You know that. Take a look at this. There's a tweet from somebody named Crypto Y, though. Here, I'll pull up the chart. And this individual wrote, XRP is at pretty much an all-time low volatility versus Bitcoin. Impressive, right? So this is the XRP BTC chart. Okay, but what does that actually indicate? Well, here's Credible Crypto retweeted that, chart analyst Credible Crypto, and he wrote, consolidation precedes expansion. And folks, this is not an opinion, this is fact. This is most definitely fact. And you just wait, because I'm going to compare, because one of the analysts that I followed did, XRP to another coin that actually just started moving, and I think you'll find the comparison rather interesting. I'm about to talk to that, but I got this all laid out in order here. And I don't want to read this article, but I wanted to bring this out to kind of circle back to a point I made at the outset of the video. I keep seeing tons of articles with headlines along these lines. So this one's from Crypto Potato. It's titled Ripple Price Analysis. XRP stuck in consolidation. Big move coming soon? Well, again, so couple things. Yes, consolidation precedes expansion. So the answer ultimately, I firmly believe, is yes. And I don't have any sort of background in technical analysis. I find it very boring, so I don't want to learn how to do it. I just don't care. I like researching fundamentals and keeping up to date with what's in the news and all that stuff and talking about this stuff. But the actual TA, I'm glad other people find it genuinely interesting. I don't, not to that degree. I'm interested in their perspectives, but as far as the nuts and bolts, I'm like most people out there. I just don't give a damn. I frankly don't. But I do know that to be true. Consolidation does precede expansion. And so the question is, given that there's been years of consolidation truly at this point, despite a big move to XRP to, April last year to about $2, despite that, it's still, there's been a lot of consolidation. So is the big move coming? So again, ultimately, the answer is yes. It's a question of when. And it's just interesting to see more and more headlines along these lines because they weren't there for a long time, and I'm just noticing they're popping up. Now, take a look at this from chart analyst Leb Crypto, and he's talking about XRP here. Here, I can just make this chart. Actually, I already had it open. Here's the chart that he had, if you want to glance at it real quick here. Let me share with you what he had to say about this, and I can come back to it in a second also. But he wrote, "It will soon resume to be volatile and very scary, with most rallies failing and correcting heavily, until the rally occurs. When that happens, it will be super clear, at least for me, that it's time to pay close attention as the bull market ends." Like, everything about that tweet resonates with me. I know this to be true. So as far as the volatility and very scary, like, people will be freaking out. Yes, there will be scariness. I won't be feeling those things, but yes, I do believe that he's correct about that. Most of what it is to be in crypto is to be trading sideways and then down, and then you eventually get these big bursts to the upside. And then as a result of those big bursts, you do see an overall trend to the upside. But most, in terms of time passing, most of the time spent in crypto is sideways or down. That's the bulk of it. That's what it is. That's just what history has shown. But man, when crypto goes, it really goes. And it corrects pretty heavily, and that's fine. But eventually, things do start to pop. And when that happens, yes, It will be very clear. That's like the tail end of this freaking market cycle, and I will be exiting stage left, my friends. I will be selling my crypto like it's going out of style. Either 100% of it or just about 100% of it. Pretty damn close either way. And then there was this. Love Crypto, he's talking about two different cryptocurrencies. One is XRP, and another one is Sys, which I don't think I had heard of. Syscoin, Syscoin, Syscoin. And check out what he wrote, though, because he's comparing the two. And I'm going to share with you the charts because it is kind of interesting to see. But he wrote, strikingly similar charts, both very bullish, with XRP still in a multi-year consolidation, while Syscoin recently breaking out. Both have double-digit targets, $10 plus. The longer the base, the higher in space. It's coming. So that phrase, the longer in base, the higher in space, it's the same thing as consolidation precedes expansion. It's the same thing, absolutely. So take a look at this if you can, if you're not driving or anything like that. Here's the all-time chart for Syscoin, which again, I don't know anything about it, don't care. People are just speculating on everything. It's really not even about fundamentals. It's not. It's just people bouncing around off each other making irrational emotional decisions. It's just what it is. It's stupid. I don't behave like that, but apparently the rest of the world does. So there we are. So this coin's actually been around apparently almost as long as XRP. You can go back to this is the all-time chart for the Syscoin, and it goes back to August 2014, and XRP started trading in 2013. So if you just look at this, you can see here's the top of the last market cycle. The Syscoin, it topped on January 8th, 2018, and that was actually 4 days after XRP topped at a little shy of $4. Very similar structurally, right? And then you can see it went down, so it was as high last market cycle as, 86 cents? And that's after being about 1/10 of a cent for much of the few years prior to that, or less. And then you can see the bubble popped, crypto it was what it was. Not looking so hot. It got back down to like 2 cents. Think about that. What if you bought the top? And some did. 86 cents, and then it got down to as low as like somewhere around 2 cents. You can see as I'm scrolling through, 1.9 cents. Like it's pretty brutal, but this is crypto, right? And so this was pretty much every altcoin on the planet. And then you can see here, it actually started to rally. May of last year, it got back up to 51 cents. Well, that's only a couple weeks after XRP started rallying. XRP, you may recall, got up to closer to $2. But the structurally, these charts look the same. I'll pull up the XRP chart in a second, but then you can see it went back down, and it got from 51 cents back down to 11 cents, and then it just started rocketing out of nowhere, up to a new all-time high just the other day, just within, I guess it was either beginning of this year or really late last year. So then the last couple weeks though. Here we go. Yeah. So beginning of the year, like January 1st, it looks like $1.31. Yeah. And so this is the Syscoin chart. Now let me put up XRP, the all-time XRP chart. Looks pretty damn similar, doesn't it? Look at that. It's not exactly, it's very, very similar. And we just haven't had that last move where it goes to the upside. And so it is interesting to see this. Like sometimes individual coins, they just, for whatever reason, like the charts undeniably look very similar, whether there's something to it or not. I'm just observing it because Love Crypto pointed it out. And the market does move in tandem, so I think if you zoom out enough, every chart looks the same. Which is, I guess, another longer way of just kind of reinforcing the idea that every crypto is going to have its time in the sun if people behave the same as they did last market cycle. And it looks to me that humans pretty well are behaving the same. So that's why for me it's more a question of when, not if. Even though I don't literally know for sure that XRP is going to hit its all-time high ever again and enter price discovery, but my bet is that it will. I have an extremely high level of confidence, and I've been articulating the reasons why for a number of years. It's my largest holding for a reason, but I don't literally know for sure. I'll just say this. When it comes to investing in crypto, my gosh, and this is why I can't relate to these people that are in extreme fear right now, that they're actually fearful. There's no more opportunity anywhere else on the planet to invest than in crypto. It's an incredible opportunity despite dramatic drawdowns at times. My gosh, there's no greater financial opportunity anywhere else on the planet. And I am not going to squander this once-in-a-species opportunity. I'll tell you that for damn sure. Take a look at this from Il Capo. He tweeted this out just about an hour ago. Expecting a little bit lower on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and even lower on altcoins. Short-term bottom is not in yet, but $40,000 was absolute bottom in my opinion. So that'll be interesting to see if that comes to pass. That's a bold claim. We'll see. So he doesn't think we're going to see lower than $40,000 Bitcoin. Okay, we'll see. Maybe he's right, maybe he's not. And then he wrote 41,000 to 41,300 for Bitcoin seems okay. Let's see if it happens today. And then there was this from chart analyst Michael Vanderpop, who wrote a potential scenario for Bitcoin. So he seems to think that this is roughly the bottom for Bitcoin too. So there's two analysts that seem to think similar things in terms of directionally where Bitcoin is going. And this I found to be particularly interesting. This is a chart that somebody named @BTC Fuel, I guess, created. Michael Vanderpop ended up sharing it and giving credit where it was due, of course, here. And so you can see on the chart, if you're looking at your screen, just noting that there are 4 different phases, if you will, to each crypto market cycle. And the section in green, and you can see it repeats here, the section in green, that's number 1, and that's the takeoff. 2 would be the first sell-off, and that's in a blue color. And then the third one is a fake top, which is in yellow. And then 4th is the cycle top, which is in some sort of purplish-looking color here. And noting that this is historically what is happening. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're into this phase, this current market cycle, and here's what Michael Vanderpop wrote. Honestly, it would make a lot of sense. This cycle is longer than the previous one. The 4-year cycles aren't happening anymore due to macroeconomic impacts. Therefore, this cycle will be higher and longer than everyone expects. Bitcoin is a bull. And so here you can see this is the expectation by the creator of this chart that we've gone through part 1 and part 2. And given that cycles are lengthening, the theory here at least, and we'll see if it comes to pass, Michael Vanderpop seems to think that there's something to it. It's certainly plausible. Excuse me. That there would be... I'm going to take... Okay, time for water. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Came out of nowhere here. So anyway, he thinks that the parts 3 and 4 of these cycles... parts 3 and 4 haven't happened. So we haven't had even our fake top yet, and not even the cycle top. So... We'll see if this is right. I mean, if this chart's right, I mean, you're talking about the completion of this market cycle at like the tail end of this year, though. So that would be pretty dramatic. Like, obviously, cycle's lengthening. I think just about 100% of humans agree on that. The question is, to what degree is it lengthening? And that's the million-dollar question that I am endlessly fascinated by. So I really enjoy seeing a conversation on this topic from all sorts of analysts and thoughtful individuals within the space. So it is what it is. So look, if they're right, then the fact that we saw this recent high of Bitcoin when it hit whatever it was, around $69,000 or so within the last couple months or so, whatever it was, if they're right, that's not the end. That's just another step along the way in this prolonged market cycle. We goes to find out together, folks. But either way, I tell you what, however long it takes, it's fine. I'm going to be patient, which is just about the only thing I can control is just like the act of doing nothing, because I can't control the rest of the volatility and all these retail speculators and their behavior. I'm just counting on them to be completely reckless and ridiculous. That actually is part of my strategy, is to rely on them to do that. They cause the volatility, which makes the price trend upwards over time, and then I just do nothing. I just wait them out. And then I sell when I'm sufficiently enticed. That's it. So that's still coming. So I'm nothing but excited for the future. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.